How many of you out there get excited when you hear that music? Go. It's okay to admit it. Admitting it is the first step. You get a little bit antsy in your pantsy, don't you? Because you're like, oh man, I waited all weekend, and it's time. That's right, it is time for Student of the Gun Radio. Thank you for joining us for a brand new week of Student of the Gun Radio. Lots and lots and lots and lots of material to cover. As a matter of fact, folks, we get so much material. And the strange thing is, it seems like every week we finish on Thursday. We record the grad program. Usually the grad program's recorded on Thursday. It's sent out Friday morning, so the grad program people hit it. And almost invariably, every week, the moment we get it in the can, we're all done, we're shut down, a news story will pop up that we should have been talking about. We're like, oh, geez. Am I wrong, Jared? I mean, geez. It just seems like the M855 green tip story pop. We finished, put stuff in the can, and then the green tip story came up. Then just each week. So
I think this story, the topic of this show, it came up when we were recording on Friday, wasn't it? Didn't it? We talked about it on the grad program first, and we're going to cover it a little bit today as well.
That's absolutely right. We talked about it. It probably came out last Thursday. We talked about it during the grad program hour, but we're going to talk about it in the public hour right now because it fits in so many ways. And a lot of you guys are aware of it because you follow our social media. And, hey, let's face it. I don't like Zuckerberg. I think he's a puke-faced scumbag. But it is what it is. We have that mechanism available to us to get out the information. And that's what we use. We use that tool, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or whatever. We use that tool to drive information to you. Hey, these are things you need to be aware of. And it's a lot easier to do that than for us to you wouldn't want me to formulate an email to you every single day saying, hey, did you catch this? Would you? No. So I know some of you hate Facebook, and that's cool. Keep hating Facebook. I got you.
They might want a daily email.
I don't know. I think if we send them a daily email, they'll be like, it's too much. I can't handle it.
There's too many people out there doing daily news emails already. So
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I get in my inbox. I'm like, I like you. You're my bro, but I don't have time to read this.
Speaking of the grad program, there is something that I'm working on right now that's going to be pretty cool. I'm working on a special app just for the grad program that you can download on your phone, and you get your stuff to the app. So look forward to that in the future. There's a lot of little kinks to work out to make sure you guys can get everything on the app. But needless to say, that's in the works.
Yeah, speaking of the app, if you don't have the Student of the Gun mobile app yet, just go ahead and download it. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. If you have an iPhone, if Android, an Android phone, whatever, everything but if you're waiting for a BlackBerry app, what I want you to do is I want you to sit down, I want you to plug your nose and hold your breath. And then when you pass out and wake up, get an Android phone, get a Galaxy 2 or 3 or 4, and download the app on the Google Play Store. How does that sound? But seriously, folks, we do when we put out the mobile app. The last time we upgraded it, Jared went in and he did a lot of work behind the scenes, put in a lot of time and effort, redid it, resubmitted it. We had to get Apple to reapprove it. And that's part of the reason that we don't – you're like, well, dude, there's this one thing. You need to change this and change this. You can't just change stuff all the time because every time you alter an app, especially with iTunes, every time you make a change, you alter it, you upgrade it, they have to approve it again. And that's a time delay.
The first time they approved it with no problem. The second time they're like, "Oh, you guys have violence." I'm like, no, not really.
We have realistic violence.
It says the word gun, so that's violent.
Yeah, according to the hippie puke faces at Apple, the word guns equals realistic violence. But anyway, so do it. It doesn't cost you anything. Just do it. All right. What else we got going before we get into it? Obviously, it is Monday, so because it's Monday, that is the excess Good Guy of the Week day. We always knock out our Good Guy of the Week then. Congratulations to me for getting my son, Jared, and a lot of you guys picked up on this when we posted the picture on Facebook. I went ahead and installed the XS sights, the Big Dot Express sights that are now suppressor. There's way too many S's in there, Jared. Silencer height, suppressor height. A lot of you guys out there, if you know anything about pistol silencers or suppressors or whatever, the vast majority of them, I think there's one company that makes a very unique Silencer Co. makes a unique one that doesn't stick up high over the top of your slide. But unfortunately, most of all the other ones, AAC and so forth, their cans stick up over the top of the slide. Now, here's a little trick between you and me. You can get away with using your normal sights, but it bunges you up. I know it bunges you up because when you look down your sights, you also see the can. You see the suppressor, the regular front sight is inside of the silhouette of the can, and it bunges you up. I understand that. I got that part. That's cool. And so with the new XS sights, they're obviously taller, and they're a mated set. And I put them on the Glock 17. I've got a Tyrant 9mm suppressor from AAC. A lot of you guys that watch the show, you know that. We actually disassembled it completely and lubed it back up with frog lube, put it back together, and it's working really well. But, yeah, did you notice that, Jared? Some of our Facebook fans commented on the picture. They're like, oh, I get you got Jared to give up those sights that he was holding on to.
Yeah, he had to pry them from my fingers. It was
Mr. Oh, I forgot I had those.
Hey, I didn't forget. You forgot that I had them.
Apparently I forgot that he had those. Shame on me. Now, we've got something else that's pretty gee whiz. If you guys are thinking about getting a suppressor for your pistol, or you have a suppressor for your pistol, and you probably are in that situation where you're saying, well, I can put the can on the pistol, but then once it's on there, it becomes like a rifle or a shotgun. It becomes like a long gun. I can't holster it. I have to just hold on to it or set it down on a table or something. There's no really good way to holster the pistol with the silencer on it, because obviously the silencer is a lot wider and larger than the frame and the slide, and so it doesn't really work. You can come up with kind of cobbled together. I've seen these nylon, like it's a scabbard or something. You can stick it into a nylon scabbard, or you can get somebody to custom make one for you and spend a lot of money for this custom-made thing. We came up with a way, an inexpensive way, to secure and holster a pistol, specifically the G-Lock 17 with the can on it, out of a currently existing model. And we're going to spring that on you guys via video because, I could talk about it all day, but let's face it, it's easier just to show you. So it's ready. It's going to go. Jared and I are going to compose a short video. It's not going to be too long. We're going to do a short video for you guys, and we'll put it up on Facebook, and we'll send it out to you, and we'll let you know. So that's coming down the line. So that is kind of the news with the XS sights and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and let Jared read the XS Good Guy of the Week's question, and then we're just going to jump right into it.
Before I do that, I got to pick up some housekeeping. As you guys know, last week our website was down, which in turn means the email system was down as well. So last week's good guy, I believe his name was Jeff Lehman. If you can send your information to Alex, ALEX, at studentofthegun.com, do that this week. So make sure that we get your information. We need your name, mailing address, phone number, shirt size, and type in your email. And send it to Alex, ALEX, at studentofthegun.com. I also had Eric Hoyer email me, and he was the dude that asked the SWAT Fuel Fitness Tips question last week about the slow twitch and fast twitch muscles. He emailed, he just wanted to let us know that he's not a police officer, but he's a first responder, and the badge was in memory of his father. So rest in peace, Mr. Hoyer, and thank you, Eric, for the question. And now we will get to this week's Student of the Week. Good Guy of the Week. This week's good guy is B. Cooper, and he posted this question in the forum. That's forums.studentofthegun.com. Go to the good guy thread, and you can post your question in there. If we choose it, then you are the winner of a good guy pack. B. Cooper, I need you to send me your name, your mailing address, your phone number, your shirt size, and your email, and send that to Alex, ALEX, at studentofthegun.com. B. Cooper says, I work at a facility that does not allow guns to be carried at work. It is not easy to just up and find a job. So what are other options for this situations such as these?
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and address this head on. Are you frisked each day at your work? Do you have to go through a metal detector? Are you subject to random pat downs and searches? I don't know. I'm not. You're like, well, it's easy for you. Well, okay. Did you listen to last week's Allowed versus Able? Was that Wednesday, Jared? I'm pretty sure it was. He's tilted his head like the little RSO dog listening to the speaker. I'm pretty sure it was Wednesday. It was Raped by the Rules. That's right. It was the episode Raped by the Rules, where we talked about Allowed versus Able. Okay. I just did the Tactical Tutor newsletter went out to the grad program people on Friday. And in the Tactical Tutor newsletter, we talked very, very specifically about mindset. Mindset, tactics, skill, and gear. Okay, that's the hierarchy. And mindset is number one. Your mindset governs all of your actions. Whether you're playing football, or whether you're talking about saving your own life, or you're driving a race car, or whatever you happen to be doing. You're developing a new app for a computer or something. So what is your goal? Well, what do you mean, Paul? What do you mean, what is my goal? Well, all right, we're talking about guns. We're talking about, are you carrying a gun because you're using it as something to enhance your personality, or is it a self-defense tool? Do you genuinely believe that a firearm is an instrument of liberty and of personal protection? Yes or no? And, you know, I'm not being snarky or glib. There are people in the United States that own guns that do not view guns as self-defense tools or instruments of liberty. They're just toys. They're sporting goods objects that they play games with. And when they're not playing the game, they lock it up and they put it away and they're all done with it. Because in their minds, the only reason you need guns is to play a game or to participate in a sport. Okay. So if that's where you are, and I'm not saying you, B. Cooper, but you as the listening audience, if you're a gun owner who plays games with guns, rock on. Hey, games are fun. We like that. But if you legitimately believe that there are unexpected situations that occur that could put your life in jeopardy, what you have to say is, what is my life worth? Well, I mean, I can't feed my family if I don't have a job. You know what? You're absolutely correct. You cannot feed your family if you don't have a job. If you don't have a life, then who feeds your family? Well, I probably won't ever have to use it. Exactly. You probably won't ever have to use it. You probably will never have to use your seatbelt because you're in a rollover car crash. You'll probably never have to use a fire extinguisher that you keep in the kitchen because it will probably never catch on fire. You will probably never need a tourniquet because your child's leg is partially severed by an industrial accident or a car accident or something. It probably will never happen. So based upon I probably will never need it, then I just won't carry it. Well, what are you saying, Paul? Well, what I'm saying is this. It's your life. Live it like you want to.
I just looked up the doctrine of competing harms, and obviously it's a state-by-state thing. Mm-hmm. I haven't found anything that just goes for overall United States. But so look it up in your state. It's called the Doctrine of Competing Harms. This one's from Maine, and all the ones that I found are pretty much the exact same verbiage, just copied for each state. This says 103, Section 1, Competing Harms. Conduct that the person believes to be necessary to avoid imminent physical harm to that person or another is justifiable if the desirability and urgency of avoiding such harm outweigh, according to ordinary standards of reasonableness, the harm sought to be prevented by the statute defining the crime charged. So it's a lot of... You can go back and listen to that sentence a couple times over, but if you pick apart the sentence, you'll understand what it means.
Well, what the doctrine of competing harms is not it's not a law. It's not legislation.
No,
it's a legal precedent.
Right.
It's what they call an affirmative defense. Now, many states have had affirmative defense clauses in their revised code. Like, for instance, Ohio. In the Ohio revised code, when I went through the police academy way back in the early 90s, it was against the law in Ohio to carry a concealed weapon, right? unless you had a license from the state, not a concealed carry permit, but a license to carry a concealed handgun.
A license to kill?
No, not to kill.
Okay.
But in the law, there was an affirmative defense clause, and it says, it is an affirmative defense to the charge of carrying a concealed weapon if the following. Boom, 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 boom. And it was like, if the person is justifiably in fear of death or serious bodily harm due to domestic violence, due to threats, due to this, due to that, if the person is engaged in a business where they have to carry large amounts of cash or valuables like jewelers and so forth. So essentially what you had is the state recognized way back when they put the concealed carry weapon statute in place that, yeah, there were times when people really did need to protect themselves. Now, and so they put that affirmative defense in there. That doesn't mean that you can't be charged, and it doesn't mean that you can't be convicted, or it didn't mean at the time, but what it meant is if you were charged and arrested and you hired your attorney would try and say, okay, here is the affirmative defense, and they would basically try to convince a judge and or a jury to accept the affirmative defense clause. But here's the deal. During the whole affirmative defense clause and all that, guess what the person charged with is? Jared, can you guess what they are?
A criminal?
No. They're alive.
Oh, alive.
Yeah, because we don't file criminal charges against dead people. No one speaks for the dead. Have you noticed that lately, Jared? No one speaks for the dead. You can't stand up and claim affirmative defense from the grave. If you legitimately believe that you need to protect your life against felonious attack, which you're not expecting because that's the way it works, then you need to ask yourself, how am I going to do that? Are there other options? Sure, there are other options. But I would almost get, there's knives, there's pepper spray, there's tasers, there's, blah, 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 all these different things. But I would venture to say that most of these companies that they had their attorneys come up with, or their insurance companies come up with, thou shalt not have any kind of gun. Most of the time, those policies don't say guns, they say weapons. You can't have anything. We want you completely and totally helpless and defenseless. That is what our policy states. Well, and it's your company's right. If they want to do that, rock on. And then you need to say, here's the deal. You are going to be held 100% responsible for any harm that occurs or happens to me going to, while at, or coming from work because your policy disarmed me. And you know what? If you're happy with it, if you're comfortable being disarmed, the whole purpose of being a student of the gun, the whole purpose of being an armed citizen is that when you find yourself unarmed or disarmed, you are not comfortable with that, but you are uncomfortable with that. Because far too many people in the United States, concealed carriers and so forth, they're uncomfortable having the gun on them. And it's almost like they can't wait to get it off and lock it away and put it because they either don't have confidence in their skills or ability or what have you. So I hope that was the answer that you were looking for. It may not have been the answer you were looking for, but that's the honest answer. And we're not here making this show to tell people what they want to hear. We're making this show to tell people what they need to actually hear. And unfortunately, that is rare in today's age because people are just trying to get audience. You say, well, man, you shouldn't do that, Paul. You should figure out what people want to hear and say that. I don't know what value there is in that. But and sometimes it hurts people's feelings because they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the cold, hard truth. They want me to tell them, and I'm not picking on B. Cooper here. We get emails all the time. People say, well, you don't understand. I can't. I'm not allowed. My wife won't let me. Please, if you send me...
Get a new wife.
An email that says, my wife won't let me keep a gun in the house, I'm just going to go ahead and not address that because if your wife won't let you do that, then your feelings are probably going to be really easily hurt. And so I'm just going to let it go. Oh, I got a note in here, and this happened today, folks. I was in the gym, I was working out, And I was thinking about SWAT fuel because I had taken SWAT fuel. I was punching the bag and I was doing my thing. And I always take a notebook in there with me because I always take notes while I'm working out. And one thing I thought about was SWAT fuel and 9mm plus P and how it gives you mental focus. And everybody that I've offered, the SWAT fuel to, or we've got how many, Jared? Dozens of people said, "Oh, dude, it wasn't just that I had energy or I felt like working out; is that I had mental focus." And that is a big, big plus. It's not this jittery, I just consumed a bunch of caffeine and sugar, but it's actual mental focus and clarity. And that's something that Braden Gunn I talked to Braden Gunn on Saturday morning on Big and Wild Outdoors, and he said the same thing. He tried it, and he said, I get up early in the morning, and I would take the SWAT fuel because I had a long day, and I had to get the kids up, get them ready for school. He said, by the time the kids were up and I'm giving them breakfast, he said, I felt like, wow, I'm like focused now. I'm ready to drive on and start my day. If you're a competitive shooter, whether it's skeet, trap, IDPA, IPSC, whatever your favorite gun game is, how do you lose points in gun games, in IPSC and IDPA? Do you lose points because you're a bad shooter, or do you lose points because you made a mental mistake, because you made a mental error? A lot of you folks out there, you guys are like, man, I've got the shooting part down. I can hit the target. That's not the problem. You make an error, a foul, or whatever, and then you lose points, you get penalized, what have you. And it's not because you don't have the physical ability to do it, but because you made a mental error. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and challenge all you gun gamers out there, you IPSC guys, IDPA guys, whatever. If you're looking for that clarity, you might want to try that. It's not going to give you the jitters. Your hands aren't going to be shaking and twitching and so forth. And you might just find that you've got more mental clarity than you had before. So I don't know. Try it out. See if it works. And after you go to SWATfuel.com, if you want to make a purchase, if that's something you're into, which you should be, use the promo code SOTG2014 because it's going to give you 20% off, and that is
Righteous.
Righteous.
That's Righteous. So do we still have sample packs?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have how many? Enough to, if I put them up on the store because people can't get sample packs from SWATfield.com, I don't think.
Oh, yeah, the single dose.
Yeah, single dose
sample packs. Yeah, we got some.
Okay, well, I'm going to put them up on the store for store.studentofthegun.com. You can order a sample pack from us, and I'll use the promo code SOTG Radio, and you'll get a little discount off of the sample pack.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that way you
Let
can
me write that down so I know how to do it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, write that down. But yeah, a lot of you guys are like, man, I don't want to commit to a whole bottle or whatever. Well, that's cool. You're on Student of the Gun. You're buying a book or a T-shirt or a DVD or whatever, a Rats Tourniquet. Speaking of Rats Tourniquets, if you guys are into the whole like saving your own life with medical gear, we've got the Pocket Lifesaver, and we sell the Rats Tourniquets separately all by themselves. Well, Rats just recently introduced a Blaze Orange one, and they sent us one as a sample to try out, and we're like, well, we'll put it on the store and see if anybody bites. Because I'm like, I don't know, or people were like, oh no, I don't want that because it's not tactical, it's not ninja, or maybe you'd be like, no, that's exactly what I do want. I want a bright orange one. So
people will know that there's a tourniquet.
So there's a tourniquet on me. So tell you what we're going to do. If you're interested in that, the next time we place a bulk order from the Rats guys, we'll go ahead and add orange tourniquets. How's that sound? And Jared, you did put the item in the store, right?
Yeah, it's in there.
Okay. All right. Well, folks, are you guys ready to get into the meat of it? I think we've kept them waiting long enough. Now, this story actually broke, like I said, last week. We talked about it on the bonus hour, on the grad program hour, but I'm going to dive into it way, way, way deeper than we did previously. And I don't know, should we bump this in with some type of a news report, Jared?
You want to do? Let's do this one. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Tiptoe through the window, by the window, that is where I'll be. Come tiptoe through the tulips with me.
I think Jared does that just to mess with people in Ohio, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do. Okay. Well, the story is Medical Coalition, high-capacity magazines, a public health threat. Dude, check this out. This is from Breitbart.com, right? I've got the story in front of me. I've got it open. It doesn't say health. It says
Heath.
It says a public heath threat. And here's the crazy
Maybe they're
thing.
looking for health bars.
Maybe they're looking for, yeah. This has been up since February 24th, and no one has caught that and fixed it yet. Oh, Lord.
I didn't see it. I've looked at that title a bunch, and that's the first time I've noticed it.
Wow, that's crazy. But anyway, so let's talk. You're like, what in the world are you talking about, Professor Paul Markle? Oh, by the way, that's who I am. I am Professor Paul Markle, and that's Jared. And we are in the official Glass Case of Motion Studios, and it took us 26 minutes to go ahead and acknowledge ourselves, but you're welcome. All right. This is, like I said, the story is originally from February 24th from AWR Hawkins. On Monday, the American Academy of Family Physicians, AAFP, so many not nice things to say are coming through my mind right now, announced it was teaming up with the American Bar Association, that's attorneys, and 7 other health organizations to form a coalition treating guns as a public health threat, focusing on ammunition magazine capacity. According to the AAFP's announcement, the coalition presupposes, quote, firearm violence is a public health issue that needs to be addressed in a public health perspective, that the coalition believes the remedy to the health issue lies in gun control regulations that are entirely consistent with the Second Amendment of the Constitution. Yada, yada, yada. And the story goes on. Of course, the people at Breitbart are like, well, that's funny, because all these people here, Nidal Hassan, James Holmes, Ivan Lopez, Aaron Alexis from the D.C., all these people that committed these publicly heinous crimes, they're all, besides being Democrats and Obama supporters, they all pass background checks. So riddle me this, Batman. If they all pass their background checks, how is more back? Well, no. You don't understand, Paul. If it saves one life, if it saves just one life, the law is worth it. Now, folks, this isn't the first time that doctors have come out and stuck their noses where they don't belong, have decided they're going to be political activists. We mentioned this a long time ago where we had people that reported back to us that their pediatricians were doing these forums, asking their children if their parents kept guns in the home, telling them that they needed to speak with their children alone. You know, I need to speak with little Susie without you in the room. Go fornicate yourself.
I say if you're a member of the grad program, you know exactly what Dad thinks about that.
Yeah.
He addressed that in last Friday's issue.
Yeah, if I were to take my child to the doctor, my little 6, 7-year-old, 5-year-old, I don't care how old the kid is. It's a child. It's my child. And they say, we're going to need you to step out of the room so we can interview him. No, you can go fornicate yourself, little gish. And 20 years ago, when I was a kid, I wouldn't have thought anything of it. But today we have these activist physicians. And then we have activist physicians that are asking adults on their health questionnaires, do you wear your seatbelt? What? Piss off. Excuse me? Look, nanny state buttface, I don't need you at the doctor's office. I come in because I've got a hernia or a cold, the flu. I don't go for colds or whatever. And you're asking me if I wear my seatbelt? Oh, just keep your little nanny state garbage to yourself. Well, we got doctors like, do you have firearms in the home? None of your business. First of all, if I was going to a doctor and they were that much of a hippie liberal puke face so they thought that was appropriate, I would stop going to that doctor. Jared, did you know that? Did you know that as an American citizen, you can choose not to go to certain doctors?
Oh, that's not going to be true much longer.
Oh, yeah, that won't be true much longer. And that actually leads us to the crux of this. A lot of you folks out there, you're scratching your heads, and you're probably thinking that this is simply a case of a few, liberal do-gooder physicians who've decided that they're just going to go ahead and support. Now, who Which organization supports restrictions on civilian gun ownership, on citizen gun ownership? Which organization within the United States of America is trying to affect the death of 1,000 cuts by just we'll never get away with coming out and saying we want to ban guns, but we'll say, well, you can have your gun, but we're going to tell you what it can look like, smell like, what color it can be, how much ammunition it can hold, whether or not it can have one of those vertical things that stick down under the bottom, whether or not the stock can move back and forth, how long the barrel can be. You can have the gun, but we're going to tell you all the other ways that the gun has to be configured. And then we're going to tell you what kind of ammunition you're allowed to put in the gun. So when they go in front of a judge, it's like, well, there's no Second Amendment violation here. I mean, they said you can have a gun. It just happens to be you can have the gun that's been very specifically approved for you by the people in the government who, well, obviously people in the government know better than you how to run your life. So this is not just a few doctors. And what I'm telling you is the organization in the United States of America that is trying to initiate the death by 1,000 cuts is the state, is the administration. What we have right now is a federal administration via all of its cronies, its agencies, its ATFs, and so forth, that has decided that they're simply going to be openly hostile towards the American citizen, and specifically the American citizen possessing firearms. They're going to decide for you what you can and can't have. So here we have an organization, the American Academy of Family Physicians. And it also says, and the American Bar Association. Why is the American Bar Association throwing its hat in the ring with these physicians?
How about let's make an American Academy of Firearms Users, the AAFU, and we'll push this mentality, the mentality that these people have, is a health care issue.
Did you just do that? The American Academy of Firearms Users, yeah. AAFU?
Yeah.
That just happened right now, huh?
Yep, I just thought of that.
That just happened. That's the spontaneity that you find here on Student of the Gun Radio. Well, I'm going to break it down for you, folks. I'm going to tell you exactly why. And it has three letters: the ACA, or the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, also known as the federal government taking control of 1/7 or 1/6, depending on your fractions, of the U.S. economy. It hasn't even all the ugliness. I mean, we've already seen people lose their health insurance. We've seen people who had health insurance have their premiums go through the roof. Yeah, that would be us. Our insurance did not get cheaper. Our insurance got way more expensive. We had to switch dentists. Did you know that, Jared? Because the dentist we were going to that we liked is no longer covered under our program, because our program was forcibly altered because of Obamacare. So, apparently if you like your dentist, you can keep your dentist is not a part of that. Optometrist. Jared, have we ever in the last 5-6 years had any issue with their getting our glasses and stuff? This year, we went to all of us, there's 4 or 5 of us, whatever, all 5 of us wear prescription eyeglasses. And we went in and we went to get our checkups and our new frames and so forth. And it took longer as far as like getting the frames back. Usually we would go in as a family, have it all done. Our glasses would all come back within a couple days of each other, because some, different frames for the girls and different frames for the boys. No problem, right? It drug on and drug on and drug on for months. And it's because of the change in the insurance. Now, what changed in the United States of America in the last 2 years? You say, well, Paul, what does that have to do with the AAFP? How many waivers and exemptions? So what is the government giving out or offering to give out? Well, what do you mean? Well, what do I mean? Is you have a government who's decided it's going to take over a huge part of the economy. They're going to oversee it. And if you want to play in that game, if you want to play that game, or if you want to have, let's say, an advantage over your competition, if you get a waiver or a special dispensation granted by His Majesty, if you get a special dispensation and let's say your competition doesn't, well, that puts you ahead of the game. Now, how does the benevolent dictator, how does the king and parliament decide who gets these special dispensations and waivers, Jared? How do they decide who gets the IRS proctological exam and who doesn't get the exam? Well, they examine. What do we know? What do we know for an absolute 100% fact, folks? We know that the current administration is not above or below, depending on your perspective, using the IRS as a terrorist organization to intimidate those that don't agree with it. It has happened. It's been happening, and they've been trying to cover it up for 2 or 3 years now, maybe 4 years. We've put, how many IRS agents did they hire? Like 5,000 additional agents. So we're going to save everyone money by hiring 5,000 additional IRS agents to give rectal exams to all these doctors' offices, hospitals, administrations, insurance companies, all of that. So what do we have here? We have organizations that are siding with the state against the people. And why would that be? If you knew history, and if you studied history, and if you studied social studies, you would know that every country in the history of the world that has devolved into either a totalitarian dictatorship or into some type of a party dictatorship, such as, let me see, the National Socialist Party in Germany, okay, the Communist Party in Russia, the Soviet Union. Are you a party member? See this, Jared, do you know anything about the Cold War?
Not particularly, no. I know that it was a Cold War, and that's pretty much it.
It was chilly then.
Yeah.
That's the sad thing is most people in the United States that are under age 30 don't have any idea what real, genuine communism was all about and how it worked. You know, it's on paper it looks like it's really great, unless if you're a moron. If you're a thinking person, you're like, yeah, but that goes counter to. Basically, it goes counter to human behavior, but whatever. Well, they sell it as everyone is going to be equal. Equal distribution of everything. But what do we really know that happens is it's equal distribution of everything if you're a party member. If you're a member of the party, if you're an official card-carrying member of the National Socialist Party or the Communist Party or the whatever, well then your life is a little bit better than everyone else's life. You get your toilet paper a lot faster. You get this a lot faster because you're a party member, because you've aligned yourself with the ruling class. That is exactly what is happening in the United States of America today. We have a government that is unlawfully, unconstitutionally taking over aspects of people's private lives that heretofore they understood they had no business doing, but you're just too distracted by Dancing with the Stars and fantasy football and all the other happy horse crap that you as a nation are distracted with, or you're just too comfortable to actually fight against it. You know, well, I voted last year, so I'm all done thinking about it until 2016. Folks, the AAFP, the ABA, all of these organizations know that if they don't play ball, if they don't get in bed with, if they don't show the king and parliament that they're down with them, they won't get their waivers. They won't get their dispensations. This is not just a bunch of activists or maybe a half a dozen liberal do-gooders. And that's the way it's going to be sold to you. Oh, well, these people are just whack jobs. They're just liberal do-gooders. They're just, no. They're very deliberately 100% trying to align themselves with what they perceive as the ruling class. against the peasantry. And guess who the peasantry is? That would be you. Folks, every other country in the history of the world, the peasants just had to sit in the middle and spin. They just had to sit and spin. They didn't have any choice. You have a choice. Whether or not you decide to act is up to you. But the fact is you have a choice. And I'm going to get back to my show notes right now. There's one other thing, and this goes right along with it. Trinity Church aligns with big government against the citizens. What are you talking about? Well, here we go. Story from theatlantic.com. And it says, gun control's biggest advocate, the church? ? And the story goes, and this is a Manhattan church. Like many proud East Coast WASP institutions, the Episcopal Church has lost considerable clout over the last few decades. Trinity Church in Manhattan is a rare redoubt of influence. Thanks to Queen Anne's 215-acre donation, blah, 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 they have a $2 billion portfolio. Yes, the church has a $2 billion portfolio. Okay, well, they've taken it, but in this entire stock portfolio, it says that they have a whopping $2,000 investment in Walmart. So out of $2 billion, they have $2,000 in Walmart stock. Well, using that $2,000 in Walmart stock, the church, the Episcopal Church, has decided that it was going to sue Walmart via the Federal Securities and Exchange Commission to force, get this, to force Walmart's board to open up negotiations to decide whether or not it will sell. It says products. It says Walmart chooses not to sell plenty of products, blah, 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 blah. And it says that they are worried about, I'm looking for the exact verbiage here. It is products that are, oh, come on now. Where is it? I can't find it, Jared. The exact verbiage is like dangerous and unusual. Here's the deal. The Trinity Church and the leaders of the Trinity Church in Manhattan have decided that they're going to try and force Walmart to open their board meetings to discussion and to vote whether or not they will allow Walmart to sell firearms and assault weapons that can take high-capacity magazines in their stores, not just in Manhattan because, well, A, I don't think there are any Walmarts in Manhattan. Are there Walmarts in Manhattan? I kind of doubt it. But B, not even in New York State. Because you smart guys out there, you're like, whoa, stop. Manhattan is inside of the state of New York, the glorious People's Republic of New York. You can't sell high-capacity assault weapons in New York because of the Unsafe Act that Cuomo shoved down our throats. So why does the Trinity Church, who has a $2 billion stock portfolio, care? I'll tell you why they care. Because they are aligning themselves with the state against the people. It's not about gun control. It's not about preventing violent crime, because we know that that's a lie. That's a sham. It's all about, hey, look at us. So when it comes time to have the IRS audit us and make sure that we maintain our tax-exempt status, you want to smile favorably upon us. We don't want to be considered like those crazy Tea Party organizations that get really serious, hardcore audits and have their 501c3 revoked. We don't want that. The Trinity Church in Manhattan is sending a very, very clear signal to the state, to the feds, that we will play nice. We will support your stance on gun control. So we want to be part of the party. We want to be part of the ruling class. Ladies and gentlemen, folks, this is not happening in a vacuum. This is all very 100% deliberate. So when people are like, well, who cares? Who cares what the Trinity? I don't live in Manhattan. And that story, actually, I discussed it in great detail in the. Jared, do you want me to tease him with that new book?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. A lot of you guys had bought the Patriot Fire Team book, or maybe you didn't, but you just want another one. Have said, when's the next one coming out? Well, the next one is coming out very soon. It's done. It's in final edit right now. It's called Faith and the Patriot. And please make sure that you're paying close attention, because we're going to have more information for you in the very near future about that. Before we let you guys go, make sure that you check out our friends, both Brownells.com And if you own a gun, Brownells has got something for you. But also check out Velocity Triggers at velocitytriggers.com. If you've got a black rifle, you want to hunt with it, you want to do sporting, you want to do precision shooting, what have you, and the trigger's not what it should be, you can drop in a Velocity Trigger at your own workbench, at your own kitchen table if you feel like it. So check those guys out, Velocity Triggers and Brownells, as well as, of course, SWAT Fuel and Excess Sights. Now, we've got a story. We've got some good news out of West Virginia, but we don't have time for it, so it's just going to have to go into tomorrow's show. And we've got some scary news about lions and tigers and bears. Oh, my. And that'll be in tomorrow's show as well. So until then, remember, you're a beginner once, but what are you? A student for life.